What's up, foamers? This is Aaron here, back from CJ Spray with some tech review. I know I haven't put out a video for a while, but I've been waiting for this gem to come in here. I've been wanting to do a video on hose heat problems, and I found a good one here. We get a lot of calls about guys' hose not working, or it's not using enough power and not heating up fast enough, not reaching your set point temperature. All of these things, they never get a code, an EO3 code or anything, but they just say it's just not working. So what I do is find out if the machine is doing its job and there's something else influencing that problem. So what we have here, we're gonna grab our meter, and we'll talk about this briefly. I always keep one of these handy, and I think most guys should have one of these on their rig. Get a meter with an amp clamp as well, because then we can test amps and do some quick readings, and troubleshooting these problems on the phone is much easier if the end user has a meter as well, and then we can do some math and figure this out. And on that note, here's how you do it. Right here you can see I have my positive and negative leads going underneath the ferrule and touching the wire. Make sure you get a good connection in there. It's pretty simple to do. What I don't do is put it in the screw here. I've got some kind of wacky readings doing that. I don't know if they're coded or something, but just put your leads underneath and touch the wire. You know we get a good reading. All right, so we're set at 122, so we're gonna turn our hose heat on. Okay, and now we're gonna check how many volts we're using. This particular rig, we have 150 feet of hose, which will come into play here in a minute. And this is a PODS unit, so it does not have a heater control board, but you do the same test. So we're using 45, 46 volts. Okay. Now we want to check our amps. So we put our clamp on and we change our meter to amps, and also we were checking our voltage there with volts AC, just so you know. So we got 34, just under 35 amps. So what we're gonna do is multiply those two things together and find our watts. And I've conveniently already done this extremely complicated math here. So if you start at the top, we had 46 volts and 35 amps. We're gonna multiply those to find our watts, which is 1610 right here. We divide that watts into how many feet of hose we have, which we have 150 feet, and that gives us 10.7 watts per foot of hose. Okay, so if you look in the Graco hose manual, the heated hose manual, you'll see that the reading in there should be, I think it's 11 to 13 watts per foot we should use. And we're at 10.7, we're just under 11. So that's good. So that tells me right away that this machine is giving the correct amount of power to the hose, and that all the components in the machine and the heater system are working properly. So that's a pretty quick and easy way to find out if your hose heat system is working. Take a couple measurements with your meter, do a little bit of math, and you can find out if your hose is using the correct amount of power and if the machine is feeding that. So with that said, we don't have any error codes. Our hose is working. We have the correct watts per foot. If it's still not wanting to maintain, then we have an outside element acting on the system. And that could be one of many things. The hose is laying on some cold concrete or snow, or the material in the drums is too cold. This particular situation, I found out that he was running his A temperature about 8 degrees lower than his hose heat. The hose is meant to just maintain your temperature coming from your primary heaters. So if one of your primaries is set lower than your hose is gonna act cold and it's gonna struggle because it can't raise the temperature. It's just not powerful enough. So that's what our primary heaters are for. So if we run our B side a little hotter than the A, which some people do, you want to have your hose heat set at the lower of the two. Okay, if you're running 120 on your A and your hose is set at 130, it's gonna act like it's not working. It's not gonna maintain it, and you'll be calling us for some help. So, couple quick things you can find out really easy if your machine is working. Then from there, we'll find out what outside element is possibly acting on the system. So if you have any questions about this problem or any others, give us a shout, let us know, and we'll address it or put a video out on it if it's a common problem. But definitely like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube page, and we'll talk to you later.